fourth attempt.
Well, that was an alley note. But, actually, it was a pretty good pass. Billy just missed it.
Here comes Kemp.
Oh, my! Moly moly!
That brings them out of their seats in Seattle, 24-11, and the Sonics are having their way early.
Nobody does it better than John Kemp, including that guy in Chicago.
Richmond finally controls. He tries to create and draws the foul as he and Kemp end up chest to chest. Boy, Sean Kemp just unbelievable on that last hammer jam, and I got a hunch we'll see him coming right at us as we take the break with a timeout from Key Arena. Record breakers celebrating the NBA's 50th anniversary, and let's go back and watch one of the all-time greats, Dr. J, Julius Erving, in a sequence of plays, and boy, nobody could do it quite like the good doctor. But of course, that was then, and right now, here's a new star emerging in the NBA horizon, Sean Kemp, and he puts it down just about as hard as you can put one down.
Ooh, would you know, who would want to try to block that, G-Man?
Oh, you'd be in traction for weeks.
Oh boy, these Sonics have just really came out and put on a show so far, and really this difference in the game right now is they're making shots the Kings aren't. Pretty simple.
50% shooting on 10 of 20 from the floor for Seattle, while the Kings have hit 5 of 15, struggling against the Seattle defense. In the last 6 minutes, the Kings have been outscored 18-6. See the time remaining in a 13-point Seattle lead. It's Richmond at the free throw line. The Kings will be traveling to Vancouver following tonight's game. A day off tomorrow. They play the Grizzlies on Monday. That game isn't on television, so we'll be joining Grant Napier on the Kings Radio Network, including our flagship station, Hot Talk at 11:40, 7 o'clock Monday night. And of course, we're interactive tonight. The Incredible Universe email strategy of the game on the internet, iukings@aol.com. We invite any questions you have pertaining to tonight's ball game or NBA basketball in general. iukings@aol.com. Gary Payton isolated against Richmond. All poked away. Shot clock at 6. Now Payton got to create. And he draws the foul. Well, a couple of dream teamers who know each other's game well, and a nice job off the dribble drive to draw the foul by Gary Payton.
Well, Gary's certainly not as strong as Mitch. He knows that, so he tries to get himself some space where he can beat him off the dribble, and Mitch just couldn't get his feet planted.
Gary Payton has improved his game so much going to his left in the last couple of seasons, it seems like to me. He's just amazing. Now with a fresh clock, well, we got a whistle here, and this is away from the ball, and a foul, a 3-second violation called. That is the first Seattle turnover of the ball game, and it comes inside the 2-minute mark of this opening quarter.
And this has been a team that does turn the ball over a lot, so that also is part of the reason for this margin.
Richmond into traffic, shovels to Corliss Williamson in the game for the first time, put it on the floor, and then got hacked on the way up. Sam Perkins gets the foul call. Corliss last night at Sacramento had a 22-point effort. Best effort of the year in terms of scoring.
Well, here he took a great pass from Mitch Richmond, because Mitch draws a crowd everywhere, certainly, but in this team he even draws more, and Corliss was able to catch the ball wide open and then drew the foul.
On the Ford scoreboard, final New York, another low-scoring game, holding Minnesota to 79. Detroit gets the road win tonight at Cleveland by 4, and boy, Doug Collins got the Pistons playing well. Tight game in Miami, and it's the 76ers with a comeback win. Orlando by 5 over Toronto, and Washington with a home court victory over the Celtics. New Jersey gets its first win for John Calipari, beating Denver. Kemp behind the back. Oh, the double clutch by Payton cost him, and it allowed the Kings Simmons time to block it out of bounds. It'll still be Seattle ball.
See the great pass here from Kemp, but as you said, Payton really has an easy shot if he just gets it up on the glass, but he jumps and does a double clutch and allows Lionel to get to him.
Sam Perkins with the clock at 6. The up and under comes up short. Rebound snatched away by Smith. Richmond has it, finds Tyus Edney. Long lead pass to Lionel Simmons from 12 on the baseline. Got the bucket. Lionel Simmons last night in the win over Milwaukee had maybe his best game of the year, even though he only scored 1 point. He had 8 rebounds and 7 assists in 25 minutes. into the final minute of the opening quarter with the Sonics lead at 7. That was Larry Stewart stumbling into traffic that time, and the hand check foul against Tyus Edney. Detlef Schrempf comes back in now, and Sean Kemp gets his first rest of the night.
Yeah, that last foul on Tyus Edney really was probably Lionel Simmons' fault, because he's up playing Larry Stewart very close out there, playing a guy real tight that can't really shoot the ball, and got penetrated, and Tyus was helping him.
Eric Snow, the second-year player out of Michigan State, handles, gets it back from Perkins. He's tied up, dumps it out. Payton with a step in now. He kicks it out to Perkins. Boy, they space the floor so well, and they make you pay the price.
Yeah, the Sonics really aren't doing anything very tricky offensively. They, as you mentioned, Gary, they get the floor space, and then they try to either spot shoot or penetrate and draw the defense to them, and then get easy shots. And of course, they're all good ball handlers and very quick to the basket, and sort of it makes it work.
Tyus Edney steps to the free throw line for the Kings. His first opportunity tonight, a 77% shooter this season. You see his numbers: 10 points, 2 1/3 assists per night. Come into Target and enter Target Sacramento Kings Fantasy Sweepstakes. That's at Target, where you expect more but pay less. Some folks stopped by tonight, dropped off a note, asked us to extend greetings to Moose, Debbie, and Trevor in Woodland, California, outside of Sacramento, from Mom and Andy, who are here watching Kings basketball tonight in Seattle. 9-point lead. Shot clock and game clock, about a 2-second differential. Now you see both on the screen. Snow from the corner. His rainbow is no good. That would have been a 2-pointer. 3 seconds for the Kings. Richmond surveying. He'll never get a shot off. Well, we played 12 minutes here in Seattle, and the Sonics had that one big explosion, thanks primarily to Sean Kemp and some terrific perimeter shooting. And they lead this one 27-18 at the break.
Please kiss me, croaked the frog. And then the princess kissed the frog, and he suddenly turned into Charles Barkley.
Daddy!
Okay. You caught me. The frog turned into a handsome prince. I love reading with my kids. We all enjoy it. Reading builds a solid foundation for their future. Okay, who wants to read the next one?
Daddy, Charles must have been a really big frog.
Michael Jordan up close, take one.
Spend some quality time with NBA superstar Michael Jordan. Like 2.5 hours.
Come on, I'll give you a jump shot right now. I bet you shoot first air ball. What drove me back to the game was I truly love the game.
For a limited time, you'll get above and beyond airtime and come fly with me when you purchase Michael Jordan, the Ultimate Collection. It's the total Michael Jordan video experience. Available for $29.98 or less wherever videos are sold.
Lewis Scott. He's got the game. He's got the money. He's got the women. He's got 2 big problems.
You're in Beantown now, baby! Beantown!
Hey, if you can't beat him,
Hold it right there, ball hog!
steal him. Damon Wayans, Daniel Stern, and Dan Aykroyd.
Might have to go to jail and become some bad man's boyfriend.
Celtic Pride.
Playing this month on Direct Ticket, only on DirecTV.
Coming up tonight on our Sprite Halftime Report, we'll introduce you to the newest member of the Sacramento Kings coaching staff. That's Pete Carrill, the longtime Princeton head coach in the collegiate ranks. Catch you up on the latest scores in the Ford scoreboard and recap the first half with stats and highlights. That's all on your Sprite Halftime Report. Got the bow tie look going with the corduroy jacket tonight from 65-year-old Pete Carrill.
The professor look full force there.
Yes, indeed. Professorial. Well, we start a second quarter that finds the Kings with the initial possession. Edney matching up against Eric Snow, along with Lionel Simmons, Corliss Williamson, Michael Smith, and Mitch Richmond. Edney from the deep wing, unable to get it to Brock, and the Sonics quickly go in the other direction behind Payton. Payton dumps it out, and from the baseline, Larry Stewart.
Well, this is what's really been setting the tone. The Kings pushing the ball up, shooting quickly, but if you don't make your shots against this team, this is what happens. They're great in transition.
Did you say they were great in transition?
They are great, and we just saw it.
Wow.
This is a team that you have to make your shots because then they have to play half court, and they're a good half court team, but they're an absolutely great transition.
There's a foul call this time, and Snow got a piece of Edney's arm. That last turnover by Sacramento, the Lionel Simmons pass at the feet of Mitch Richmond, was only the 4th Sacramento turnover of the ballgame. Turnovers were a huge problem Monday night against the Sonics, but Seattle turned it over only one time in the first 12 minutes of this one.
The Kings have done a pretty darn good job. You know, I think it really does come down to, so far, just not making shots. And certainly, when you don't make shots, as we just said, against this team, it gets magnified.
Well, the Kings shot only 37.5% in the opening quarter on 6 of 16. We've seen one more miss since then. This one's deflected out of bounds a minute into the second quarter. 11 on the shot clock for Sacramento. You see Stewart there, Larry Stewart in his 5th year, a free agent acquisition in September. Played his college ball at Coppin State.
They played several years with the Bullets, had a couple of pretty good years.
He was on the injured list when the Sonics were in Sacramento on Monday. All out of bounds as Corliss Williamson tried to control it. It went off one of the Sonics, so Sacramento gets possession back. Here's Williamson just above the free throw line, rims out. Michael Smith trying to keep it alive, and a jump ball is called as he's tied up. Michael shaking his head like, no, Mr. Maurer, that's not right. This should not be a jump ball.
Here you'll see Michael Smith coming from out on the floor to get the ball among 3 Sonics, just like we've seen so many times. This guy just gives a great effort every night.
He thinks every ball is his. Here's Richmond for 3. Bring it up for the Rock.
And he thinks every three-pointer is his, and the Rock maybe has got his stroke going.
Mitch Richmond nailing his 12th three-pointer. 29 attempts this season. Kendall Shrimp looking for position, draws the foul from Corliss Williamson.
Now this is a tough matchup for Corliss Williamson. Kendall Shrimp, even though he's 6'10", is very good off the dribble. Here you'll see it. A little head fake, takes it to the left hand. Corliss just can't get his feet moving quick enough, so he's going to have to give him a lot more space than that if he's going to guard Kendall Shrimp.
Here's another new face for the Sonics this year, Craig Elo, now in his 14th NBA season. Free agent acquisition last summer, acquired in July. Last year, of course, played for Lenny Wilkins in Atlanta. Ahmed Abdul-Rauf comes back onto the floor for Sacramento, and Richmond gets his first break of the evening.
We're going to see the mini guards in action here, Gary, with both Tyus Edney and Abdul-Rauf on the floor at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out.
Richmond sets down with 5 points. Unfortunately tonight they've had a computer glitch here courtside at Key Arena, and we're not provided with the normal courtside stats on the monitor, so we're having to kind of adapt, and the crew here is doing a great job of periodically, about every 4 minutes, feeding us a look at a running box. Here's Edney for 3 on the wing, off the iron. Michael Smith with the rebound and put back, and he gets the favorable roll.
That's just great effort by Michael Smith. But what happens with Seattle doing all the double teaming, which is really like a zone, so it allows for Michael Smith or anyone who's really aggressive going to boards to get some putbacks like that. There's going to be more there, and more Kings really ought to take advantage of it.
Perkins with plenty of time to set up. Misses this one. Rebound, however, into the hands of Stewart, and he's fouled by Lionel Simmons. Good persistence on the offensive board by the Sonics, who a moment ago were out rebounding the Kings 13-10. 5 of the 13 coming early from Sean Kemp. Sonics playing only their 4th home game. They've played 5 on the road already this year. 4-1 on the road, including the victory on Monday night in Sacramento, and a victory on the road in Los Angeles against the Clippers 2 nights ago. here on their home floor. They're 2-1. The loss came against Atlanta. That's the one that George Karl was just beside himself about, 117-95.
Yeah, he was just, as you said, beside himself. Of course, George is getting big enough, he can almost be beside himself.
Quite literally, huh? We'll look at the Rain Man on the bench. There's the perimeter jumper good from the L Train, Lionel Simmons.
The Train Man showed the Rain Man something, and then Tyus got a little bit overly aggressive. Created a little touch foul in the backcourt.
Next time the Kings win on their home floor at Arco, save your ticket stub. It's worth a bacon cheeseburger with any purchase. That's when you visit Carl's Jr., because when the Kings win, you win with Carl's Jr. Craig Elo swings the Detlef Shrimp, changes it to the other side. Now they come back around the horn, and the entry pass to Perkins. Perkins working on Michael Smith. Dumps it out. Snow shovels it right inside in a design play. Good movement, but that one broken up and off the hands of Stewart, out of bounds.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting a 3-second call since Stewart had been in there in 9 seconds.
A rare Seattle turnover. Perkins pokes it away, tracked down by Smith. Abdul-Rauf backs out. Now the clock inside 10. He goes to the corner and fires, and it's not there. Rebound Simmons. Ball fake, blocked from the backside by Shrimp. No foul call. St. Jean goes ballistic to our right. Detlef Shrimp breaks Elo, and Elo off the iron. Detlef in the air for the rebound. The putback too hard. Here comes Stewart with a try. He's fouled. Boy, the Sonics aggressively pounding the offensive board. You see Gary St. Jean, who came up close to midcourt as he just exploded off the bench when there was the no call at the other end.
Here you see Elo miss. You see the Sonics. There's Detlef Shrimp first, going up. And Larry Stewart. What's happened is you see a lot of Kings around, but you don't see any putting a body on anybody. Really, it doesn't do a lot of good to get in there and stand together and shoot the goal. You actually got to check someone off.
Kings basketball tonight from the Pacific Northwest, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Fares solo. You've got the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest Airlines. Williamson draws the double team, and an illegal defense call against the Sonics will result, I believe, in the technical foul.
I don't think George or Detlef Shrimp agree with that call. Of course, it will be to no avail.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf to shoot the technical. Now 6 of 7 from the line this year. He's only had a handful of opportunities to get to the strike. George settles back in at the opposite end of the floor. The Kings with a fresh 24 in the shot clock as they go to work early in the second quarter. We're in Seattle. I'm Gary Gerald, along with Jerry Reynolds, our producer director Michael Odino, and our crew. Happy to have you with us tonight. Corliss Williamson had the wide open reverse attempt, but was way too high. The little pull-up 12-footer is missed by Detlef Shrimp. Nice hustle play by Snow to keep it alive. Here comes Elo. No foul call? Yes, there is a foul call. I didn't hear the whistle as I saw Elo go bouncing to the floor.
I think Craig Elo, I think he was just happy. Eric Snow really just out-hustled Tyus Edney a little bit here. And he sees Elo streaking down the middle, and Corliss comes over and plants one right on his sternum. So really the Sonics not only are playing well, but they're really out-hustling the Kings right now.
They're doing a terrific job on their home floor, where last year they had a very impressive record, to say the least. They played 41. Each team plays 41 home games. The Sonics won 38 of their 41 on the home floor. And I think the only team that had a better home court record was the Bulls, and I think Chicago lost only 2 times last year on their home court.
You know, I think I know why they won so many home games. It's because they're really good.
That probably explains why they also won 26 last year on the road.
On the road. It's not a coincidence, is it?
64 wins for the franchise record for the Sonics. And of course the memorable playoff series, the first round against Sacramento, where the Kings got a split up here. Squandered a late 6-point lead in game 3 in Sacramento. Get a jump ball call here. Then in the 4th game that proved to be the decisive one in the first round playoff series, Mitch Richmond sprained his ankle in the second quarter, and the Sonics went on to the win. And then Seattle went on to defeat Houston in 4 straight. They took Utah in 7 and got to the championship series, losing to the Bulls in 6. So Tyus Edney with that little set shot from out on top, good for 3.
When Paz can get his feet set like that, he's getting better and better, and definitely has the range for a consistent three-point shot.
Shaw behind the pick, set by Perkins, comes up short. Rebound into the hands of Corliss Williamson. Lead out Edney. Kings in transition, but the Sonics are back defensively. Here comes Corliss, and there's an offensive foul. Sonics getting in position, and that time it was Larry Stewart who drew the charge.
Kings just out of control offensively, no other way you can put it. Really poor pass to Corliss Williamson, and he was really playing at a pace he couldn't play at. So just not good judgment any way, shape, or form by the Kings.
Nice job by Larry Stewart, who was activated this week after the Sacramento game. He goes to the bench. You saw Sean Kemp come back in. That's the bad news for the Sacramento Kings. Perkins trying to post up. Now they reset. Shot clock at 7. On top, it's Schrenk. Detlef off the iron. Long rebound to Perkins. New opportunity, but Elo couldn't hang on to it. So with the turnover and the dead ball, we'll get a timeout. 6:49 to go in the first half. Seattle leading this one by 9. And another break coming your way with a message from Southwest Airlines to kick it off.
Hey, Tino.
A shootout in Brooklyn.
5 people are dead, and they're connected, and that's all I know.
And that's all I want to know.
A mayor under fire.
I'm not going to let these shootings interfere with my program for the city.
A city ready to explode.
I choose to fight back!
City Hall.
Playing this month on Direct Ticket, only on Direct TV.
That moment in Game 4 was the greatest shot that I've ever taken. I faked like I was going to pass it and go to the baseline, and I crossed over and then I came to the middle. Man, when that ball went through all net, oh man. I've always dreamed of beating the Celtics with a shot, and I got my chance.
There are tough choices to make every day. Even as a kid, I had to make some hard decisions. I remember this gang was going to start a fight and wanted me to come with them. I was scared to say no.
Where you going, man? I'm going home. Come with us. Man.
But I was even more afraid of where I'd end up if I went along. Sometimes it's hard to stand alone. I know, because that's what I had to do.
As we come back, we'll have a question being posed here electronically on the Incredible Universe email strategy of the game. Ike T is wondering, Jerry, what can the Kings do to get Billy Owens going this season?
Well, I think certainly Billy will get going, but really, I don't think he's in top shape. I think partly to the injury. He's not in the condition he should be, and I don't think he feels comfortable yet. He isn't pushing his body like he should, which is not unusual when you come back from a groin injury, but certainly in the next 4 or 5 games, I think you'll see Billy Owens starting to play like Billy needs to play.
Well, his top scoring effort this season, 9 points on 2 occasions. His best rebounding effort, 7. He scored 7 points last night, but had only 1 rebound and 1 assist in 18 minutes against Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's just not a Billy Owens game. He's much too talented to play at that level.
Abdul Rauf and Edney, the backcourt combination. Mahmoud leans in, a nice little billiard banker off the glass. That was pretty.
That was pretty. He showed Craig Elo the ball. Craig got a good look at it just as it went in off the glass.
Well, we're back to a 7-point ball game after the Sonics have led on 2 occasions by 13. Oh, the persistence of Kemp comes up short. Rebound loose. Controlled by the Rain Man. Dumps it out to Perkins. Trip and a block foul call on Billy Owens.
Well, one thing the Kings are doing now, I mean, the Sonics really aren't shooting the ball very well either, and they're not getting inside shots. So they're making the Sonics shoot on the perimeter, much like the Sonics are making the Kings.
Well, at the last time out, Sacramento was shooting only 36% on the night, but Seattle was down to 41% after their hot start. Incidentally, we want to extend greetings from the Kings and KPWB, our flagship television station, to viewers who are watching around the world tonight. Jerry, we have the rare opportunity to be seen on TV Azteca in Mexico, Sportmania in Spain, Star TV in Hong Kong, and also on Fox Sports down under in Australia. So literally a worldwide audience of some 140+ countries, we are told. Glad to have them along for NBA basketball. Tyus Edney with penetration. penetration in the hoop.
And Ty's Edney just made a world-class move there for the world audience.
So it's as close as it has been since the early minutes for the Kings. Edney now has 6 points, and at the midpoint of this second quarter, we have a 6-point game.
So I think one thing you've seen Michael Smith now, he is really playing Sean Kemp tough. I think since Gary St. Jean put him in the game, it really changed tempo. And of course, unfortunately, Sam Perkins finally got this stroke going for a 3.
Well, that's his third three-pointer of this first half. He hit 4 against the LA Clippers 2 nights ago, and he also had a couple of huge daggers into the heart of Kings fans in Sacramento Monday night every time Sacramento would make a second-half push. Michael Smith flying in from the wing.
The fearless Michael Smith, but one thing you'll notice the difference. Michael Smith is not letting Sean Kemp catch the ball in the same place that really he was getting it with Olden. So he's putting a body on him and feeding with him.
Payton skips it cross court. Kemp going long distance up on the top of the backboard, grabbed by Olden Polynice. Another thing about Michael Smith, he doesn't have quite enough successful field goals, but he is shooting 70% on the year. Otherwise, he'd be leading the NBA. He's 3 field goals short. Look at the persistence here as Billy Owens battles. Mahmoud tries to save it. It ends up out of bounds. It'll be Seattle's ball.
Well, just great effort by all parties. A lot of effort there. It just so happens the Sonics got a break and get the ball. Here you'll see it. Billy Owens really keeping at this ball. Tip, second jump. Kemp and Billy fighting for it. Mahmoud could have had it, but had nowhere to throw it.
Yeah. Mitch Richmond comes back into the game for Sacramento with 5 points, 2 assists. Edney sits down. Payton, McIlvain, Shrimp, Kemp, and Hawkins, the starting 5 for George Karl. Working now against the Kings with 4.5 to play in this first half. Detlef Shrimp with the rainbow. There is another three-pointer. Boy, the Sonics are ringing them down. They've hit 5 from the perimeter, and that's 8 points now for Detlef Shrimp. So many weapons. We've said it so many times when you play Seattle. It's not a matter of shutting down 1 or 2 individuals. You've got to shut down 4 or 5. Abdul-Rauf misses. Rebound. Kemp can't hang on to it. Sacramento will get it back as he and McIlvain were battling for possession.
Yeah, Sean just about had an outlet pass with McIlvain's head.
Sean Kemp, of course, made his statement as he did not report to training camp for the first week or so of the season. He was a little unhappy with his contractual situation. Consequently, they say he's not quite at full mid-season form, but you never know it from what we've seen this week, the numbers he's put up. Michael Smith with a tough move off glass that time. Up and down, looking like a 6-foot point guard trying to penetrate, but not with quite as much grace and flair.
Well, he is an amazing shooter around the basket. You know, he is ambidextrous, and I think it really fools defenders. They don't realize he can shoot the right hand or left hand hook 5 foot just as easy.
Here's Kemp with a spin. He tried to hammer it, but the foul call goes against Olden Polynice. Boy, you can almost hear this crowd. When he starts a move like this, they know what's coming.
Yeah, this spin, I mean, he's just simply quicker than any other 6'9", 250-pound player in the world, and he's going to get to the basket.
Shooting numbers not too bad. You saw 59% for Sean Kemp on the season. That puts him in a tie for the 4th best field goal percentage in the NBA coming into this game tonight.
So the angle he shoots from, he ought to shoot a good percentage.
Well, look at the breakdown, home and road. At home, nearly 27 points a night. So he adds a couple of more to his talent. He's now in double figures. He has 10 in this very balanced Seattle attack, and the lead is 10 for the Sonics.
The Kings have got to keep this game in reach, which certainly it is right now. Don't let this team get any further away.
Abdul-Rauf dumps it out. Owens has it, fakes the pull-up, tried to feed it to Richmond, and it goes out of bounds off Sacramento. Sloppy, careless play right there by the Kings. Deny them the shot attempt.
Well, both Mahmoud and Abdul-Rauf had a pretty good shot, and Billy, and either one, they chose not to take it. And we've said before, against this team, you turn down shots, you may not get another one.
But nonetheless, as you saw, the turnover story has been a respectable one for both teams. Only 6 by Sacramento, 3 for the Sonics, which is abnormally good. Here's McIlvain from the corner, and he says, yes, I'm worth that $5 million a season you're paying me.
Take a few more jumpers like that, but
Kings take a full timeout with 2.5 minutes to go in the first half, and after they had closed to within 6, it is now a 12-point Seattle lead as we take the break.
My favorite move is trying to, get the ball on the block, trying to take my man left and right, back and forth, spinning away, either shoot a fade away or shoot a nice little jump hook. Sometimes you got to react to how the defensive man is playing you, but other times you got to make the defensive man play you the way you want to. Depends on the situation and how well you're rolling at the time, and I just try to, pick and choose my spots when I want to make my move. I just love to be on the court.
Al Donnelly's running for governor.
All the way to the Capitol!
There's only one small problem. His brother, Mike. So now, they need someone.
And I am your man.
To keep him under control.
Okay, good first day.
Black Sheep.
Are you or are you not the Black Angel of Death?
Oh my God!
Playing this month on Direct Ticket, only on Direct TV.
Seattle, we remind you that our next telecast of Sacramento Kings basketball will be Tuesday night from the Rose Garden in Portland. Isaiah Ryder and the Trailblazers looking for a measure of revenge after the Kings won a nail-biter by 1 point in Sacramento about a week and a half ago. That'll be Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. Well, we got the baseball presence of Jay Buhner and his wife courtside watching this one tonight. About a half dozen seats or so from the Kings bench. Seattle Mariners star.
Man can hit a baseball, I'll say that.
Jerry, I think maybe you ought to consider that shaved look. What do you think?
I'm giving that some thought. Yeah, I think that would might just be what I need to change my image. Whatever that would be.
They'd love it back in French Lick. Here's Mitch Richmond going baseline. Did not get the foul call. Out of bounds with 8 seconds on the shot clock. And Mitch a little frustrated there.
Yeah, I think he should be. Looked like several guys may have got to him.
Billy Owens will handle underneath the Kings basket. Oh, what a great play by Owens off the Sonics, but he missed the opportunity for the shot.
Well, McElvain really reacted well, though, after making the initial mistake.
And Devlin Shrimp in transition on a great setup from Gary Payton. Makes the Kings pay. It is the biggest lead of the ballgame now for the Sonics.
And while Billy Owens was being frustrated by McElvain, Shrimp took off and ran the court. And that's what this team does.
Olden Polynice with a 14-footer from the left baseline. Inside 2 minutes to go in this first half. Our Sprite halftime report coming up. We'll introduce you to Pete Carrill on the Kings coaching staff. Kemp controls after it was knocked away. Up to Payton for the reset. Shot clock hits 6. McElvain from the baseline. Yes. Good McElvain. Doing it at both ends of the floor after that little block earlier. And now his second baseline jumper.
Well, that's certainly the guy that the Kings are doubling off of, so he's going to get easy shots. And normally he doesn't make a lot of jump shots, but he's doing a nice job tonight.
Boy, look at the double team hit on Richmond. He finds Michael Smith, and Smith will get to the free throw line. And Mitch Richmond has given Ken Maurer an earful after that quick hitting trap out there. And Jerry, you alluded to that earlier. That's one of the things that the Sonics excel in. They're very unpredictable in how they will trap or defend against you.
Absolutely. Yeah, George Karl probably does a better job of this than any coach in the league, but certainly with his various double teams and traps, they come from different positions, and you just can't really run a set offense against them. I think you have to attack this team much like you would a zone defense in college, because George is going to come at you a lot of ways.
Kings Talk Wednesday night, 7 o'clock with Brian Wheels Wheeler on KHTK Hot Talk Radio, 1140 a.m. Your chance to talk Kings and NBA basketball. That's Wednesday night at 7. Payton trying to break down the defense, and the foul call here from Joe Borgia works against Richmond. And Richmond goes right over to Maurer and says, now what's the difference from one end of the floor to the other? Why is it called here? Why wasn't it called at the other end?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Gary. I mean, Mitch is very frustrated on the offensive end. He's kind of taken that on this end, and he's got to kind of watch himself. Not get any further trouble, but he's probably got some good points.
Craig Elo comes back into the game now, replacing Detlef Schrempf. Detlef Schrempf with 10 points, Sean Kemp with 10 points, Gary Payton with 9, Sam Perkins with 9. So again, terrific balance from the Sonics. Kings have no one in double figures. In fact, their top scorer is Michael Smith with 8 points off the bench. In the final minute of play in this second quarter, Abdul Rauf backs out in the corner, stalked by Elo. Sonics again have the Kings down to 6 seconds as Richmond fires and hits the triple. Mitch Richmond out on top. Hits his second three-pointer of the night. He now has 8 points on the evening.
Billy Owens and Gary Payton got a little tangled up there, and certainly exchanged some pleasantries, but looked like it's all okay now.
10-point ball game. Kemp short, rebound Polynice. Elo hustling. Opie feeds it out to Richmond. Harry St. Jean barks out for one shot. Shot clock should be off. It is hot in the arena, and it shows 3 more seconds than there actually are in the game. I hope the Kings don't get confused. They're down to 3 seconds to go in the quarter. Richmond gets it off. It's good. Hello to the line. Magic by Richmond in heavy traffic, and the foul on Sean Kemp.
Boy, just great power and strength on this drive. Here you see him get past David Wingate, a good defender. Just powers it through Kemp, and here comes McIlvain, gets it up over him and draws the foul. Here you see another angle of it. Taking it on with the left hand, splits the double team. Hey, this is dream team kind of move.
That was a huge play, and it's a momentum builder for the Kings, who have a chance to this to be a 7-point ball game in a half.
And you notice Mitch and Gary Payton are talking here. Mitch is talking to Payton, saying, "Hey, I'll show you that one again in the second half."
And Payton is still flapping his jaws. I mean, they are really talking trash to each other as we reach the buzzer in the end. Look at them, nose to nose here, finger pointing in the chest. Richmond and Payton, the gauntlet has been thrown down for the second half. This could be big-time fun in the second half of this one, as Richmond has brought the Kings with that 3-point play to within 7 at halftime. We'll take a break. Our Sprite halftime report is our next order of business.
This is the NBA League Pass Halftime Show. In tonight's show, we look at the NBA's 50 greatest players. We begin with the guards, starting with the NBA's all-time assist leader, John Stockton.
I look at it as a pure point guard as the guy who does what his team needs.
He did it! He did it! John Stockton, a new NBA assist king!
A generation earlier, a brilliant point guard, Lenny Wilkins, followed the same philosophy. He was like a coach on the court and went on to become the league's winningest coach ever. Another great floor leader was Nate Tiny Archibald. Always a step ahead of opponents, he's the only player to lead the league in scoring and assists in the same season. The shooting of Bill Sharman helped launch the Celtic dynasty. Back in the 50s, he was known not only for having the quickest shot, but also the quickest feet in the league. Sam Jones was another shooting star for the Celtics. A master of the bank shot, he played a key role on 10 of Boston's championship teams. But in 1967, they were dethroned by Hal Greer and the 76ers. Greer, a 10-time All-Star, helped his team become one of the greatest in league history. 1 year later, young Piston star Dave Bing became the first guard in 20 years to lead the league in scoring. One of the most devastating scorers ever to play guard was George Gervin. At 6'8", he combined a silky smooth jumper with his patented move, the finger roll.
That's what I'm known for, you know, the finger roll. It's kind of nice to have, you know, your own shot named after you.
While Gervin was known as the Iceman, no one was cooler than Walt Clyde Frazier. He helped lead the Knicks to 2 titles with its clutch shooting and quick hands on defense.
West across the midcourt, loses to Frazier, dives ahead of the field, down the lane, layup is good.
In 1983, another Clyde named Drexler would glide onto the scene, and he became one of the first guards to go soaring above the rim.
Drexler, he's open, he scores! What a show by the Clyde!
One guard who always put on a great show was Earl the Pearl Monroe. He eluded opponents and electrified fans with his whirling shake and bake moves.
One of the things I learned early was how to play to the crowd. And it was very important to me because, it just made my juices flow.
But the NBA's original showman was Bob Cousy. He revolutionized the game with his slick ball handling and creative playmaking and ran the Celtic fast break to perfection. But maybe the ultimate crowd pleaser was Pistol Pete Maravich. The man with the fancy passes and floppy socks was just unbelievable. At 6'1", Isaiah Thomas has been called the game's greatest little man, and he always came up big in the biggest of games, leading the Pistons to 2 straight championships.
I was very creative with the basketball, which enabled me to basically be able to go anywhere on the court that I wanted to go, regardless of people's height.
But Oscar Robertson was the first true big guard. He used his size and versatility to dominate the court and became the only player to average a triple-double for an entire season. Shooting his deadly jump shot, Jerry West averaged 27 points during his career. The man known as Mr. Clutch always delivered.
There's always one guy late in the ball game that seems to end up with the basketball. I was not afraid. That's when I think I had the ability to concentrate depth.
2 seconds, 1 second. West throws it up. He makes it. Jerry West made it from the other side of the midcourt stripe.
In the 80s, a new Lakers star took the league by storm. Irvin Magic Johnson, the orchestrator of Showtime, he led LA to 5 NBA titles.
I just go out and try to play for me. And if that's magic, I guess that's what I am.
No guard has soared to more spectacular heights than Michael Jordan. Unstoppable on offense and relentless on defense.
I'm a very competitive person.
Jordan to the circle, puts the shot in the air. Good! The game's over, and the Bulls have won.
Hate to lose. I compete at practically everything, and competition is everything to me.
Whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan's game.
Coming up, the NBA's greatest forwards.
Watch this fantastic move by the doctor.
Please kiss me, croaked the frog. And then the princess kissed the frog, and he suddenly turned into Charles Barkley.
Daddy!
Okay. You caught me. The frog turned into a handsome prince. I love reading with my kids. We all enjoy it. Reading builds a solid foundation for their future. Okay, who wants to read the next one?
Daddy, Charles must have been a really big frog.
Welcome back to the show. Now, the NBA's greatest forwards. In the 1950s, high-scoring Dolph Schayes made the Syracuse Nationals one of the NBA's top teams. He also played in 706 consecutive games, making him basketball's original Iron Man. Pitchin' Paul Arizin was a 2-time NBA scoring leader. His jump shot took the game off the ground and changed the way it would be played. Mixing talent with tenacity, Bob Pettit was one of the league's greatest forwards. Over the course of his career, he averaged 26 points and 16 rebounds. But Pettit retired at age 32, saying he could no longer meet his own high standards. Taking the forward position to a new level was Elgin Baylor. An explosive scorer, he also had the ability to float in midair, bringing a totally new dimension to the game.
I just play the only brand of basketball, the type of basketball I knew how.
But looking back today, over 23,000 points and 11 All-Star appearances later, perhaps not even Elgin himself is sure exactly how he did it. The 1960s also brought the arrival of Jerry Lucas, who turned the blue-collar work of rebounding into an art form. In Philadelphia, Billy Cunningham delivered offensive firepower for the 76ers, averaging 20 points and 10 rebounds a game over his illustrious career. John Havlicek played for 16 seasons, his tireless play earning him the nickname Hondo. When he was through, he scored over 26,000 points and started on 8 Celtic championship teams.
Greer's putting the ball on a play. He gets it out deep, and Havlicek steals it over the sand goal. Havlicek stole the ball. It's all over. It's all over.
As the NBA moved into the 1970s, Elvin Hayes ushered in a brand new era. A power forward who played with finesse, the Big E was one of the league's most dominant and durable players. When the New York Knicks acquired Dave DeBusschere, they found the missing ingredient that produced 2 NBA titles. One of the game's standout defensive forwards, DeBusschere controlled the boards and was also a clutch player on offense for those Knicks teams.
When I was out there, I was in another world. I was totally immersed in that world. All of my focus was there.
And Rick Barry brought a world of skills to the forward position. During a brilliant 14-year career, he excelled in every phase of the game, once even leading the league in steals. But above all, he was an offensive machine, and he is the only player to have ever led the NCAA, the ABA, and the NBA in scoring. With an improvisational style all his own, Julius Erving was simply the doctor. He stretched the game's creative limits and seemingly defied the laws of gravity on his way to becoming the 3rd leading scorer in basketball history.
I really considered those routine plays, although I know they were beyond the boundaries that one would call fundamental.
The evolutionary trail of forwards continued with Boston's Kevin McHale, whose twisting, contortionist moves in the low post completely frustrated opponents.
He used his worm move.
There was the sleek yet powerful quickness of the Lakers' James Worthy, so often at the finishing end of a Showtime fast break. The emphatic deliveries of the mailman Utah's Karl Malone.
Moved by the mailman.
The dynamic athleticism and versatility of Chicago's Scottie Pippen.
By Scottie Pippen.
And the irresistible force known respectfully as Sir Charles Barkley.
I've always felt that anytime I step on a basketball court, if you give it 100% every day, good things are going to happen.
And now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. What a play by Bird.
They said he couldn't run and couldn't jump, but what became evident about Larry Bird was that he also could not be stopped.
If it comes down to one shot, I want to be the guy to take it.
Bird goes for 3.
Up next, the centers of the NBA's 50 greatest players.
Believing I could make a difference wasn't the problem. I just didn't know how. I knew I couldn't do everything, but I could do one thing at a time. And I realized I wasn't the only one out there. I've learned so much from so many different people. It's been great getting involved. Team up with your community.
We conclude with the centers of the NBA's 50 greatest players. It is just a 16 by 18-foot area. But in this small space, reputations and legends are made. It has been the domain of many great NBA centers, beginning with the league's original superstar, 6'10" George Mikan. He led the Minneapolis Lakers to 5 championships, earning the nickname Mr. Basketball. 20 years later, another towering center was making a name for himself, a player who seemed virtually impossible to stop.
He presented to me for the first time in my career of basketball a guy that I really need some help to guard.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar used his graceful skyhook to become the league's all-time leading scorer. He left with 6 NBA titles and 6 MVP awards.
The thing that amazed me the most about him was his strength. He's just an incredibly strong and powerful performer.
The respect between Bill Walton and Kareem was mutual.
It was a very competitive atmosphere when I played against him. I thought when he was healthy, he was definitely
one of the great centers to play the game.
Walton won NBA titles with both the Trailblazers and Celtics, where he teamed up with another star center, Robert Parrish. With his steady all-around skills, the Chief helped revive the Boston dynasty in the 80s. He became one more link in the chain of Celtic greats, following in the footsteps of Dave Cowens.
The way I played the game was just play it as hard as I could all the time, no matter who I was playing against.
The man known as Big Red played a blue-collar style. His toughness and hustle made him a favorite of Boston fans. But some of his fiercest battles came against another bruising center, Wes Unseld.
My style of play and his style of play, I think, are somewhat compatible in that for 48 minutes, you and I were going to knock heads. If you had something weak about you, I was going to exploit it and make it weaker.
In one of the league's most dramatic moments, Willis Reed limped onto the court for Game 7 of the 1970 Finals. Inspired by their captain, the Knicks won the title, and throughout his career, Reed left a legacy of courage and determination. Joining Reed among the league's greatest centers is Nate Thurmond. His trademarks were his outstanding defense and rugged rebounding. And just as he was leaving the scene in 1977, a new star was arriving. His name, Moses Malone. But Moses would pass the torch to the next group of dominant centers, 4 young stars who would stake their own claim to greatness. Patrick Ewing and Hakeem Olajuwon each made their team championship contenders, and in winning back-to-back titles, Hakeem also won the admiration of his opponents. Shaquille O'Neal arrived with devastating force and an awesome combination of size, strength, and agility. David Robinson brought a variety of skills rarely seen in a big man. It was last seen many years earlier by a brash young star.
In the long run, I'll be able to handle myself man-to-man with almost anyone in the league.
Will Chamberlain would rewrite the record books. He was the league's most dominating offensive force, but the ultimate test came whenever he faced the game's greatest defender, Bill Russell. Russell left an indelible mark in the game, and he built his reputation on defense. He was the master of the block shot, a ferocious rebounder, and he triggered the famed Celtic fast break, leading Boston to an astounding 11 NBA titles in 13 years. Thanks for watching the NBA League Pass Halftime Show.
Okay. Okay. Well, thanks to a 10-3 run in the last 2 minutes of the first half, Sacramento closed a 14-point deficit in half to trail by 7 as we get ready for third quarter play. Mitch Richmond on the left and Gary Payton, his back here, talking to Jay Buhner courtside, were nose to nose as the half ended, and there was a lot of finger pointing going on and jabbing in the chest as some serious trash talking took place after Richmond came up with a 3-point play in heavy traffic with 0.6 of a second to go to close out the quarter. So it's going to be fun to watch these two go against each other in this second half of play. Let's take a look at the Chrysler Plymouth leading scorers, and those two names are going to figure in the scoring tally. First for the Sacramento Kings, Richmond, the only King in double figures with 11, with Michael Smith off the bench at 8, and 3 other men with a half dozen apiece, including Billy Owens, Mahmoud Abdul, Rauf, and Tyus Edney. Kemp, Shrimp, and Payton, all with 10 points each to lead the balanced Seattle attack in the first 24 minutes of play. And a terrific week for George Karl's Seattle Supersonics. While the Kings ended up losing to Seattle Monday night, they got hammered in Utah Wednesday night, 105-74. Then came back and, as we mentioned, beat Milwaukee coming from behind last night, 103-99 in Sacramento. The Sonics, after knocking off the Kings Monday night, had a back-to-back situation and beat Golden State Tuesday by 19. and then beat the Clippers on Thursday. Here are some game totals, but only half of a screen of game totals. There we pop the other half in, as you can compare numbers between the Kings and the Sonics. At the free throw line, 6 more chances for Seattle. 3-point shooting, 4 of 8 Kings, 5 of 12 Seattle. Sonics with a rebounding advantage. And the points off fast break, limited transition opportunities. 8 for Seattle and 2 points for the Sacramento Kings. This is a busy stretch for the Kings. Not only is it their second game in 24, 26 hours, it is the second in a stretch where they're playing 4 and 5 nights. And then, of course, one home game coming up next Friday night against Miami before the first Eastern trip of the year, and it's the longest road trip of the year. It's a 6-gamer starting in Cleveland, moving on to Toronto from there, then Indianapolis on Thanksgiving night, on to New York, Detroit, and Minnesota before getting back home. So the Kings are playing 10 of 12 away from home in that stretch. Well, you saw Richmond talking to Paul Mahalik. Now Payton is getting his chance to lobby a little bit. Both men have taken advantage of an opportunity to bend the ear of Paul Mahalik, and this could be fun here as Richmond comes out with a big grin on his face, and Payton says, come on, get out here, let's play.
Well, it's going to be interesting too, because they both have the same agent, so we'll see whose side he takes in this. But really, I think they're pretty good friends, but they're very competitive people, and but we haven't seen the last of it. They'll talk to each other again this half.
Michael Smith starts the second half for Sacramento on the front line, along with Olden Polynice and Billy Owens. Richmond and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf in the backcourt as usual. Shot clock already at 7 on this initial possession. There's Richmond trying to go back door, and he's fouled as Hersey Hawkins got a piece of him.
Well, one thing I think the little talking did has got Mitch a little extra fired up. Here you see a nice pass, Polynice, and Mitch, even though he's a 2 guard, is strong enough to go right up into Sean Kemp and draw a foul.
Richmond at the line now has 12 points. Back to the Ford scoreboard. Look what Chicago, Jerry, did to Atlanta tonight as the Bulls win their 10th straight, the best start in franchise history. Utah with a tough time in Texas, but beat the Mavericks by 1. And this is now final. Houston beating Golden State by a dozen at the Summit. Chicago with a 10-0 record. Atlanta now 5 and 5 and holding the Hawks to 69 points.
Well, that's just amazing defense, but of course the Hawks are a little banged up, and we see Kemp get a travel call.
Well, we saw so many travel calls last night, particularly from Leon Wood, who was in double digits in terms of travel calls against the Kings and the Bucks. Tonight, I believe this may be the first one that's been whistled.
Yeah, so we're seeing most of the travel calls are called on the box and pivot play, but that was one, out on the perimeter, which looked like a pretty good call from here.
Well, it's a good opportunity for Sacramento. The lead is 6. Billy Owens trying to cut it down long with the shot, and the rebound is cleared by Seattle. Payton matches up against Richmond. Entry pass, however, to Detlef Schrempf behind the back. Great pass, and then a foul from Polynice. He knocks McIlvaine to the floor. Oh, what a delightful pass that was from Detlef Schrempf. A no-look behind the back job.
Here you see it. Detlef sees Olden Polynice coming, so he knows McIlvaine is open, and now it's a matter of finding. What a great look. But basically that setup, you saw Detlef take a quick peek at Olden Polynice, so he knew that if Olden's over here, he can't beat guarding Jim McIlvaine.
McIlvaine barely got it to the front of the rim on the free throw attempt, however. He has only shot 7 free throws this season coming into this game, and he's missed 5 of the 7. And with that particular look, I think I see why.
It's not quite Eric Montross-like, though.
That was better. He gets 1 out of 2. No, Eric Montross may have set the standard for the season when we saw the Kings in Dallas play on the first weekend, opening weekend.
Yeah, I think those are the ugliest free throws I think I've ever seen.
And that's saying something.
Yes, I've seen a lot of ugly.
Michael Smith last year was the worst free throw shooter in Kings franchise history. Richmond open from 21. Not there. Rebound into the hands of McIlvaine. Leads it out to Payton. Schrempf wants it up. Payton goes cross court. However, to Hawkins. Now inside to Detlef. Payton on the perimeter. Again, excellent ball movement. Now it's Kemp. The baseline soft touch is good.
That's just great ball movement. Boy, the Sonics just keep moving the ball until they find a breakdown in the defense.
12 points now for Sean Kemp. And the lead back up to 9. two-pointer that time for Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. He thought he was outside the arc, but
I'll tell you what, Gary, if they'd counted arch, that would have been a three-pointer. That made an extra 5 foot just on arch.
That one was up in the lights. The spin and the grab foul called on Michael Smith as Kemp was looking for space underneath. I want to say hello to everyone on the Kings Television Network, including our regular Sacramento Valley viewers and KPWB TV Channel 31, KREN TV in Reno, and KDQT TV up in Redding in the North Valley. I understand they've got some inclement weather in Northern California. This three-point attempt no good. A good night to be in watching NBA basketball. Here's Richmond in rhythm, firing for three. Not there. Billy Owens tracks it down in the corner. Nice save. Here comes Richmond back in. He's fouled. He's got the bucket.
That's a great hustle. Billy Owens just kept that ball alive and made the play. Mitch had the presence of mind to keep hustling going to the basket. Here we'll see Billy track down the ball, sees Mitch coming right to the basket. Great play.
And this is a Mitch Richmond who last night played 41 minutes at Arco against the Milwaukee Bucks. Had a season-high 30 points. Now he's got 15 on the night of this one. We're early in the third quarter at Seattle. It is a 4-point ball game after that play. Terry Gerald along with Jerry Reynolds. Good to have you along with us tonight as Sean Kemp goes to work isolated. Draws the double team, but they can't stop it.
Well, that's still pretty good defense. I mean, Sean Kemp's a great player and got help on him, but you're not going to hold this guy scoreless.
Well, he has had a week where in the last 3 games he has averaged 28 points. He now has 14 tonight. Ball poked away, grabbed by Abdul-Rauf. Into the lane with a penetration attempt. Deflected out of bounds. It's going to be Sonic's ball.
Mahmoud felt he was fouled here. You see him just split a double team here. Thinks he gets hit on the head. Looks like he does. Looks like Kemp just smacked him right in the face.
Boy, Billy Owens tried to draw a charge there. Jim McElvain gets credited for the basket, and that one's got Gary St. Jean up red in the face, howling cross court to Joe Borgia.
Yeah, he's saying, geez, we didn't get a call on one end and should have got one on the other two.
Great pass from Billy Owens to Olin Polynice. There were 2 cutters. Richmond was there, and it was Polynice who ended up with a nice opportunity. Detlef Schrempf working on Owens. Draws the crowd, feeds on top to Hersey Hawkins. He attacks the lane. Kicks it back out. Detlef steps in. 17-footer. In and out. Kemp with a tip. No good. Tips again. Knocked away. Grabbed this time by Richmond, and he ends up being fouled by Sean Kemp. Well, 3-pointers have been raining down on this one tonight. We had 9 in the first half, including 4 by the Kings for each 3-point field goal made by Sacramento. First Nationwide Bank makes a donation to the Kings Community Foundation.
Well, the Kings certainly are hustling on both ends of the floor now.
Boy, Richmond tried to go to the finesse scoop underneath. He thought he was hit. Here's Payton trying to rush back, and the foul called here, I believe, on Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Foul on number 3, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Here's Mitch now coming baseline.
He really just didn't know quite where he was on the floor. He had to made a good move, and then, of course, Gary Payton and the Sonics coming right back at you. You notice who got back in the play and created the foul was Mitch Richmond, so that shows great hustle to miss a shot on one end, get back on the play on the other. So the Rock is, he's back at it. Rock-like effort.
Even that replay, you could see Richmond made contact from the backside, but they announced the foul as going against Abdul-Rauf.
And we'll agree with that call 100%.
100%. Payton hits the second one to wander around and drop, and he's talking to Richmond again. This is getting to be fun.
Well, it is, and you know, Gary's a great trash talker, and
one thing league best.
And one thing you do know is that that intimidates Mitch Richmond about like 0 or less.
Well, but the thing is, both guys can back up any talking. That's what makes it such a fun pairing. Olin Polynice with that half hook. 7.5 minutes to go here in this third quarter. It's a 6-point game. OP with 6 points. Kemp will get to the free throw line. And this foul also against the Kings' Michael Smith.
It looked like here Michael Smith's wanting a, he feels like he was fouled. He's really, look here, Sean Kemp just keeps clearing out space underneath the basket, and then of course does draw the foul. Michael saying, geez, what chance do I have to get around this guy if he's allowed to push me backwards?
That's the 4th foul on Michael Smith. And for the Kings, it's the 4th team foul. Still relatively early in this quarter.
I think that's one of the complaints for a defender, and certainly the officials are consistent on how they call it. But there's a case where Sean Kemp had his position, but he also took Michael Smith's position too. Michael said, I'm allowed somewhere, aren't I?
Kemp now has 16. Sonics by 8. You see the time remaining there briefly. Looking for Richmond. Working against Hersey Hawkins. A little bit short. He's been short coming off that throw a couple times. Steal Richmond. Toe on the line for 2. Misses it again. Oh, he wanted that one so bad. Here comes Payton now against Richmond. Mitch seals him off. Payton finds the seam, drops inside. Nice cut. Hands off to McElvain. Block backside. Michael Smith. Abdul Rauf lead out Richmond. Kings 3-on-1. Smith back to Richmond. Glides. Got it.
Great play by the Kings. Really running the floor, Gary. Both ends of the floor. This game right now is up for grabs, and the Kings know it.
Anybody who can put together a little run. Oh, great job. Kemp misses it, however, and Michael Smith gets hit in the face, and a 20-second timeout is taken. The Kings take the timeout after Michael Smith got poked possibly in the nose, and we'll take a mini break here with 6:26 to go in this entertaining third quarter. We will take a full break at this point. This word brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Denied as it was blocked on the backside, and the Kings with a nice transition push.
Look at Michael Smith run the floor back to Mitch Richmond, and that play was, of course, set up by Michael Smith's block on Jim McElvain.
Now, what resulted in the initial timeout was that poke right there. Sean Kemp hit Michael right in the nose.
Looked like right on the nose, and of course that's a pretty fair-sized target there.
Travel call here as that quick backcourt trap for the first time against Mahmoud Abdul Rauf pays off, forcing the Kings into the turnover. Here are your shooting numbers thus far in the third quarter. For the game, Sacramento still at 45%, the Sonics at 44%. Richmond leads all scorers with 17. Kemp has 16 to lead Seattle. Second opportunity now for the Sonics. Here's Gary Payton, dumps it out. They got the fresh clock off the miss. Now inside, Payton kicks it back out again. Hersey Hawkins in traffic. Off glass.
Hersey wanted a foul call, and probably was fouled, but he still made the basket.
Yeah, there was contact as he split the two Sacramento defenders. Kings trailed by as many as 14 and cut it to 4. Now the ball deflected again. This is a breakaway opportunity for Gary Payton, and he capitalizes. The lead is up to 10.
Great hustle by the Sonics. Now, after a basket, they're always looking to double, so the Kings have to be very, very careful in a situation like this.
Payton now has 14. Kings spread the floor out. Billy Owens draws the double team. Shot clock at 5. Shot clock at 2. Polynice with a jump hook.
Oh,
just as the buzzer was sounding, he got it off just in time.
That sweet half hook is back.
Boy, St. Jean lobbying for contact up in midcourt on Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. He was bellering at Homaholic. Here's Kemp with a little bank job on the reverse.
Now you notice there wasn't any double team there. Michael Smith was playing him all alone, and that's something that probably Coach St. Jean and the team will have to look at closely, because he may have to go some double team help there.
Richmond trying to beat a double team. Feeds it out to Abdul Rauf from the corner. No. Billy Owens to Michael Smith. Blocked by McElvain. Out of bounds, however, to Sacramento.
Well, Jim McElvain definitely has great timing and is throwing away. Here you'll see it. Billy Owens fights for the ball. Michael Smith puts it up, and McElvain really great timing.
That's his third block shot of the night. You see Tyus Edney back on the floor for Sacramento. Replaces Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Mahmoud not finding the shooting stroke tonight the way he did last night, although he hasn't had as many opportunities. The percentage isn't bad at 3 of 7, I believe. Corliss Williamson is in for the first time in the second half and handling right now. Here's Edney with that little launch for 3. Buries it. Tyus Edney with that sweet set shot on the top of the arc.
What a great substitution by St. Jean. It just gets Tyus in and gets him a 3.
Dwayne Coswell being summoned now. Here's Perkins talking about threes. Yes, he answers right back. Sam Perkins has been superb on the perimeter tonight. That's his 4th triple of the night in 5 attempts. Smith dumps it out to Corliss Williamson. Into the lane, stripped, grabbed by Tyus. 8 on the clock. Colonies from long range. He's got another one.
OB's jumper really isn't too pretty, but it does go in. And one thing you'll notice here that the Sonics are doubling off of Michael Smith all the time, which is allowing for penetration and some easy baskets by the Kings. They're recognizing them very well.
10 points for Olin Colonies tonight. Payton playing screen and roll, sets up Kemp, misses the hammer attempt with one hand, and then Kemp is called for the foul as he raked the shoulder of Michael Smith. Boy, that was a design play, and we'll get a second look.
Yeah, a little pick and roll or pick and flare, and then Kemp really probably tries to make it too easy. A little one-hander here, you'll see. Probably should have went up 2 hands, and he missed it. But fortunately for the Kings.
If you belong to a group of any kind, you need to check out specially priced group tickets that are offered by the Sacramento Kings for games at Arco Arena. Call the Kings Ticket Sales Office during regular business hours next week, 928-3650. That's 928-3650. Edney breaks down the D, shovels it off to Corliss. Mishandled out of bounds, but I think one of the Sonics got a hand on it. Coswell in for the first time in the second half, joining Lionel Simmons and Corliss Williamson up front. Edney and Richmond, the backcourt duo. Just over 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Richmond, who has 17 points, trying to free up, drives on Kemp. Ball stripped away, ends up in the hands of Kemp. Here comes Seattle now trying to capitalize on the turnover. Coswell knocks it away. Controlled, however, by Kemp. That is the 10th turnover tonight by Sacramento. Sam Perkins dumps it out. Detlef Schrempf fakes the pull-up. Now off the dribble. Goes glass, doesn't get it. Coswell with the board. Richmond and the Kings break out 3-on-3. Richmond shovels to Corliss. Oh, he had a great chance. He saved it, but he saved it to Craig Elo. Payton loses it. Coswell going after it, out of bounds to Sacramento. Unless Coswell got a hand on it, it will be Sacramento ball.
Well, I tell you, this ball must be flat on one side. It's going everywhere.
Suddenly at both ends of the floor. We've got a timeout taken with 2.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Sonics lead it by 8. 31 Action News, weeknight, 7 o'clock, and again at 10 p.m. Channel 31. Shawn Kemp tonight, 18 points, 11 rebounds for the double-double. And Jerry, he's also got 7 assists. He could get a triple-double before this night is over.
Well, he's capable of even a quadruple-double. I mean, that's a level player this guy is. Now, you'll notice one thing, too, is Tyus Edney's back in the game. The Kings will get a little more penetration when Tyus is in the game as opposed to Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. So the game will change a little bit.
See the turnovers broken down by half. Kings had started to bring the ball up the floor, and then we had a whistle for whatever reason, checking something with the clock. Now we're ready to try it again, and now Seattle decides to show pressure in the backcourt. Mitch Richmond handling against Elo, and the Sonics now play it straight man-to-man. Sacramento tonight behind Richmond 17. That closed to within 4, now trailing by 8. Travel call here on Corliss Williamson, so the turnover tally starting to escalate at a critical time for the Kings.
Yeah, Corliss is just really struggling tonight, just catching the ball, just simply just not playing at the level that he's been playing at.
After the 22-point effort last night, Williamson has been held to 1 basket. Well, actually a pair of free throws tonight. Foul call here on Lionel Simmons. Once again this year, Target treat seats are back in Sacramento. Visit any area Target store and pick up a treat seat coupon. Your chance to purchase $18 tickets for games at Arco Arena for just $11. That's to any of 12 Kings games this year. Treat seats courtesy of Target. Detlef Schrempf at the free throw line. Sonics tonight have hit 18 of 22. Make it 19 of 23. They've had 10 more opportunities than the Kings at the line. Sacramento in the field goal department is even in field goals made with the Sonics at 25 apiece. Kremp now with 12 points. Lead is 10 as we near the 2-minute mark in this third quarter. Richmond looking to pop. Elo is there. Sam Perkins doing a nice job. The pass intended for Williamson knocked away, goes out of bounds.
Yeah, Mitch is a little frustrated with Corliss. They're really trying to enter their offense to Corliss because they feel like that's really an area they can go at, because Sam Perkins should have a tough time defending him, but clearly it didn't work that time for the Kings.
Well, the Sonics doing a good job generating points off these Sacramento mistakes. Eric Snow in the game at the point. Here comes Elo. Oh, was that ended up being blocked? The second attempt no good. They didn't call a travel, so apparently somebody got a hand on it. Simmons now goes to Williamson. Corliss spins, and a block foul called or an offensive foul? That's an offensive foul on Corliss. So there again, that's 3 consecutive possessions now where you've had Sacramento turnovers. Corliss just threw the ball on the floor.
Here's Corliss getting the ball, and really just decided to try to take the baseline. Eric Snow looked like he had pretty good position there, and then I think just got extra frustrated with the way he's been playing tonight.
Yeah, threw the ball down hard off the floor, and it rocketed about 25 feet in the air, and that resulted in an immediate technical foul, but it is missed by Craig Elo. Elo's got to be wondering what's going on. He missed a layup attempt on the last Seattle possession, and now the free throw on the technical. So it's still a 10-point ball game, but the Sonics get it back, and a disgruntled Gary St. Jean looks on as his club has turned it over 3 straight possessions.
Yeah, this is the time now where Corliss has got to shake it off and just get back to playing basketball. Forget about the last couple of plays and calls and play the game.
Illegal defense from Joe Borgia is the whistle.
Illegal defense has been called against Sacramento, their
First time it's been whistled tonight against the Kings. Well, that was called on Ty Sedney. I think he was guarding Eric Snow, but Eric Snow went out past the arch, and he really didn't see him move, and that's where the call came from.
Kemp planted in the paint, gets the easy shot inside. So Shawn Kemp now has another 20-point ball game. That's the 4th time this week he has scored 20 or more, including 2 of more than 30. Here the bump foul is called on Eric Snow, and man, Gary St. Jean, if they didn't call that, he was going to just throw a tantrum here to end all tantrums.
I think he was going out there and make the call himself, because
you can still see right there how red in the face he is.
Yeah, the blood hadn't got back down in the heart area yet, has it? It's still up there.
Ty Sedney gets the first one for the Kings with less than a minute to play in this third quarter.
Well, and Saints on telling Lionel Simmons to remind, I think Dwayne Cosell, whoever's guarding Shawn Kemp, that don't leave him. Always know where he is on the floor. He got awfully open last time.
Well, the Kings stunned Seattle back here in April in the playoffs, first round of the playoffs, when they won the second game of the best-of-5 series after the Sonics won the opener. Lionel Simmons is tied up, and here is a whistle, and the foul may be on Craig Elo. Or is a timeout taken? No, a timeout. There is no foul call. Now let's see if it's a full or not. We're waiting to see. Still no indication. 41 and a fraction seconds remaining. And I guess it's going to be a full timeout. Lloyd Daniels, and what impact will he have? Jerry, can you address that situation? There's talk that the Kings may sign him.
Well, sir, Lloyd has not signed yet. He is suffering from a virus, so that's to be determined, certainly from his talent. If he were to play the Kings, the impact he'd have on the Kings or any other team is he's a multi-position player, has some ability to play 1, 2, and 3, so and is a good deep shooter, but he is not signed at this date.
He played last year in Europe, has been with 2 or 3 different clubs over the years in the NBA, and apparently impressed some of the Kings staff during his workout, despite the fact that he was ailing a bit.
Well, he's got a lot of talent, and I can recall a couple years ago, I mean, he was averaged 38 points a game in CBA and really went to the Lakers and helped them beat the Sacramento Kings, as I recall very distinctly.
Mitch Richmond dumps inside. In traffic is Williamson, and we got a jump ball call. Sean Kemp ties up Corliss Williamson. Sonics defense has been so impressive in the last 3 minutes of this quarter.
Here's Mitch Richmond penetrating, finding Corliss around the basket, and just gets tied up.
Even though Kemp didn't have good position, the strength in his hands very obvious right there.
Well, he's stronger than binder twine, isn't he?
Richmond ends up stealing it and gets a tough basket in traffic. What a heads-up play by Richmond after the Sonics had controlled the tip. Mitch has 19.
And the Rock is about as strong for his position as Sean Kemp is for his.
Down now to the final seconds of this third quarter. 8-point ball game. See the shot clock, lower left. Kemp with a spin on the reach. Oh, my. Talk about strength. That time Coswell had a hand on the ball all the way, and Kemp was able to muscle through it and get the kiss off the glass.
Now watch this. Causey does a pretty good job here. Muscles him, fights him, fouls him. Kemp scores and draws the foul.
So Sean Kemp, boy, I tell you, he has to be a strong candidate for Player of the Week in the NBA.
He's a candidate every week.
Mitch Richmond, 3 seconds to go, trying to free up. Great defense again, but a foul is called on Payton. He got his knee into the side of Richmond, according to Paul Mahalik. Payton didn't like it, nor does the Seattle crowd. But Richmond, with 9/10 of a second to go, has a chance to add 2 to his total.
Now Mitch knows the officials. He's going to make the officials make a call.
Oh, my.
Ooh.
Oh, I didn't see any knee or body there, and that was the indication Mahalik gave us. No wonder Payton was jumping up and down.
Yeah, Gary is...
that was a bailout right there.
He says, I got all ball. I had him. Well, you did, Gary, but Mitch is shooting.
Look at he's letting Mitch know, and Mitch is talking right back. Look at this. This is the way the first half ended. If you weren't with us, and then they went nose to nose, and they were jabbing each other in the chest. Richmond steers it down with 9/10 of a second to go.
Because I got 2, and I want to keep you from scoring 2.
Payton, in disgust, throws the ball toward Paul Mahalik, and we've reached the end of the third quarter. Well, it's been entertaining, and it's still a pretty good ball game. 8-point lead for the Sonics, who've been on top all the way. Third quarter saw Seattle outscore the Kings 26-25. Let's check the Ford scoreboard, and we'll get you up to date on other games tonight in the NBA. All now complete. New York goes to 7-2 with a win over Minnesota. Detroit with the road win tonight. Now 8-1 has won 4 in a row. Philadelphia by 2, and we'll stroll through the scores as we have resumed action here at the start of the fourth quarter. Sean Kemp has been the man once again tonight. Eric Snow with the rainbow, no good. Kemp offensive rebound from the backside. Corliss Williamson thought he had a clean block, and Maurer says no.
Well, that's a case where really the Kings have got to get the ball off the board. They did a nice job defensively, but just couldn't keep the rain man off the board and fouled him from behind. But they're clearly leaving Eric Snow open so they can rotate and help on other people, but you still have got to get the ball back.
Kemp with 22 points, now 12 rebounds, 7 assists. And actually, the foul was credited to Dwayne Coswell on the inside. Apparently, the block by Corliss was a good attempt, but nonetheless, Kemp at the line, where he now has 23 on the night. This one rings out. Just underway in the fourth quarter. Mitch Richmond starts this fourth quarter on the bench. He leads the Kings in scoring with 21. 3 Kings in double figures. I.S. Edney has 11. Olden Polynice has 10 to join Richmond. Coswell high posting, dumps it out to Edney. Shot clock at 7. Inside, Lionel Simmons with a baseline lean. Good from 6 feet away.
Nice pass to Tyus Edney. Had to really just set it in there perfect for Lionel. But this is going to be interesting. Here again, got the mini guards out there. But this is a pretty good matchup for him because the guards.
Good help by Tyus Edney.
Yeah, Tyus is. He's gonna make himself his presence felt out there anytime he gets on the court.
Well, and a foul has been called on Sean Kemp as a result. So here
you see Tyus back there helping out. One thing about it, see Eric Snow, he's guarding Eric Snow, so he knows Eric can't shoot the ball out on the floor, so he's going to take chances defensively, and that time it forced a turnover.
See that's the 4th foul tonight on Kemp. Nice pass to Coswell, the jump hook short. Kemp good, and count it. Put Corliss Williamson at the free throw line for a 3-point opportunity. And Sean Kemp picks up his 5th personal.
And here's Ty trying to get the ball into Causey. Has a pretty easy shot. Here you see Forrest Williamson reading the play all the way. Another angle. Causey puts up. Now you watch Corliss come in from out of the play. Nobody checked him out. Had the presence to come after the ball.
So Kemp gets a breather. His 5th foul tonight. And the Kings with a chance to tighten the screws, and they do just that. It is a 4-point ball game.
But Gary St. Jean's got to feel good where he is because Mitch is getting a little bit of a blow, and these two little guards are still putting pressure on the defense.
Ooh, you mentioned earlier that this game is somewhat reminiscent of that playoff game the Kings won in Seattle in the first round last year because Sacramento trailed virtually all night. Then in the 4th quarter, kept inching away, took the lead, ended up winning going away.
Very similar. You know, this is what you got to do with the Sonics. Just kind of hang around and stay close.
And hope that Hersey Hawkins doesn't kill you from on top. He missed the 3 there, and the Kings break out. Simmons on the far wing. Edney in traffic. Ball loose. Major contact. No call yet. And the Sonics come away with it.
Boy, it's hard to believe that wasn't a foul.
And here that is foul called, and it's a 3-point chance for Seattle. The foul is on Abdul-Rauf. Well, the turnovers were a factor in the 3rd quarter, and here they are again.
Now that's something. It's either a charge or a block. And this is nothing.
Boy, compared to what we saw at the other end, no wonder St. and the coaching staff were unhappy for the Kings. Hawkins converts on the 3-point play.
Yeah, you can't blame him because it may very well have been a charge on Tice, but it was something. It wasn't nothing. And on the other hand, really, if there was contact, he must have just blown on him or something.
Seattle now with that turnover, and it will be credited as a turnover, and the 3-point play has scored 22 points off turnovers in this ball game, and that is a big, big number in a 7-point game.
Now there you see a little push right in front of the official. But one thing about the Sonics, they're so aggressive defensively. They're going to do that, and they're going to make officials work a little extra hard because they are out to make a play and make a turnover.
And there is another one.
There's an example. They're always going for the ball. And the Kings have got to be aware of that. They're always going for the ball.
Trent steps inside the arc. He had a notion. Now he leans into the floater. No good. Coswell controls. Kings break out. This is a 4-on-3 transition opportunity. Lionel Simmons working on Perkins. Now the Sonics are back defensively. Edney with the launch. He's hit a couple tonight. That one's well short. Long lead to Craig Elo. He's fouled by Coswell. Good recognition by Elo for the quick release, and then good recognition by his teammates to get him the ball. Eric Snow with a nice push.
Now you wonder why Elo was out here. Well, the reason he was because he ran at Tyus Edney when he saw the perimeter shot. So once the ball was missed, he was out ahead of the pack.
Well, a couple of times now tonight, Sacramento has had the Sonics seriously concerned. They've cut it to 4 on 2 occasions in the second half, but each time Seattle's defense has answered. Mitch Richmond, and well, 9.5 to go. He'd like to be there. We're going to get a timeout taken by Sacramento. Here's your score and your time remaining as we take our first break in the 4th quarter. So that means Southwest Airlines is on the taxiway. We remind you to catch Gary St. Jean live every Wednesday morning only on Good Day Sacramento from 6 to 9, KPWB TV channel 31. Well, the Kings did a great job protecting the basketball against the Sonics' various defensive looks in the first half. Only 6 turnovers, but they've turned it over 10 times in the second half. And as a result, Seattle with 22 points off the turnovers has pushed the lead back out to 9. 9:24 to go. Richmond is back in the game for Sacramento. And this Seattle crowd really encouraging the Sonics defense. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf working against Hersey Hawkins. Shot clock at 10. They've isolated him on the wing. He frees up. He fires. He hits it.
Mahmoud. I mean, he glued Hersey to the floor and stuck one in right in his face there. What a big-time move.
10 points for Abdul-Rauf. 4 of 8. His shooting numbers on the night. Trim against Williamson. Detlef with a fall away, and again the foul is called, and the frustration factor for Corliss Williamson continues to mount. Boy, they are working on him. The Sonics are doing a good job of trying to exploit him.
Yeah, you'll see the foul there. He got a little up and under move, and Corliss left his feet, lost the center of gravity. But you know, this is a mismatch, and at least the way the Sonics feel, they're going to go to Detlef Schrempf on against Corliss Williamson about every chance they get.
That's now 5 fouls on Williamson. Payton and Kemp getting a rest at the moment. Their numbers on the night: Kemp with 23 points, 12 boards, 7 assists. Payton 14 points, 7 assists, and a pair of steals. Detlef Schrempf misses that one. Olden Polynice with the rebound. Kings have Polynice, Simmons, Williamson front line. Richmond, Abdul Rauf in the backcourt. Kings have been lurking in this one. They've never been closer than 4 since the early going. Seattle led at the end of the first quarter, 27-18. Richmond attacks, scoops, scores.
Oh, great move. Here again, now that was created by Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, drawing Mitch's man. And why he left Mitch, I don't know, but he did.
After tonight's game, be sure to join Brian Wheeler on Kings Wrap. Your chance to discuss this contest. Get the final word on all the scores from around the league. That's on Hot Talk Radio, KHTK at 1140. Brian Wheeler, Kings Wrap.
Nice take to the basket by
second-year Eric Snow. Strong dribble drive to break down the D.
Yeah, just a defensive breakdown by the Kings, because Eric Snow really can't shoot the ball on the floor, so you got to keep him from driving, make him shoot the ball.
Polynice from just inside the free throw line, crashes off the left side. Elo brings it up for the Sonics. Schrempf again working on Williamson, who has 5 fouls. Now it's Sam Perkins stepping out.
Yeah, they want to play. Make Corliss Williamson play if they can.
Oh, the reverse by Elo. Beautifully executed. The Kings were so concerned about Detlef Schrempf and his versatility on the baseline. The back door was wide open, and Elo was there.
You saw Detlef Schrempf. He had faced up on Corliss, but planned on driving him, but Elo just cut right to the basket. That caught the Kings napping a little bit, and Detlef got him the ball. So just good recognition.
If you're on a budget, you can still see the Sacramento Kings take advantage of the popular game plans. They start at $108 per person for 9 games in Sacramento. Call 928-3650 for full details. Do it during regular business hours, 928-3650.
All right, it's getting big possession time for the Kings. They've got to get good shots every possession now to get back in there.
Ball off the foot of the Sonics, out of bounds. McIlvain will come back in. Richmond may have jammed his left hand. He's holding it as he will get ready to inbound. Now maybe Lionel Simmons will handle. No, it's going to be Richmond. 7 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in this one tonight. Richmond tried to go off the back of McIlvain, and again, Elo was there to save it. Here's a great touch pass to Hershey Evans. Pulled him in, caught the basket. Lionel Simmons, they say, caught it off the glass. So rather than the Kings with a high percentage opportunity off the inbounds, the Sonics with a great transition push. Sacramento takes timeout, and Seattle has opened up a 13-point lead, and the Sonics are getting a standing ovation as we take the break. A very noisy Key Arena as we take a look at our Carl's Jr. game summary. The difference in points off turnovers is very much the story of this ball game. 24 for the Sonics, only 9 for the Kings. A 13-4 Seattle run here in this fourth quarter after the Kings had cut it to 4. And there is another turnover as the Richmond pass was stolen by Elo. And the Seattle defense is coming up huge. Detlef Schrempf from the corner. Not there. Over the back, the foul is called. It'll be on Jim McIlvain.
That's the thing about this Seattle defense. They're so active, and they come from so many areas. Mitch Richmond just really wasn't aware of where Craig Elo was. But
that was the 18th Sacramento turnover, the 12th of the second half.
Now, many of the turnovers are forced. That's one thing you got to give the Sonics credit for. They are going to make you make some decisions.
Billy Owens holding now, working on Payton. Oh, and there's another turnover as Mahmoud Abdul Rauf spun away, and the pass went to the so it's a 15-4 run. The lead is the biggest of the ball game at 96-81.
Well, the Kings can't really get back in the game if they don't get a shot up, and that's the last two possessions really haven't even gotten a shot.
Kings basketball brought to you by Budweiser. Reminds you fresh beer tastes better. Look at the job the Sonics are doing tonight. Here's the quick double team hit. Mahmoud in the corner, 1 on the clock. He's not even going to get a shot off. There's another turnover. He hit it after the shot clock horn sounded, but against this din of noise, and at the opposite end of the floor of the bench, they couldn't hear the call of butter, which is the warning that they're inside 5 seconds on the clock. 20-8 is the turnover tale, and that's the story of this ball game. Seattle's defense just magnificent down the stretch.
Well, that's definitely the game. I mean, the Seattle Sonics have just taken over the game on the defensive end. Now here you see trying to take advantage of a mismatch. The foul really there where Mahmoud just got him around the waist.
Percy Hawkins will step to the free throw line. You see Mahmoud talking with Paul Mahalik. That conversation will continue out on the wing as Hawkins toes the stripe. Percy with a quiet night in terms of scoring, but a chance to become a double-figure scorer. That is now the 5th double-digit score for the Sonics. You see the Kings bench. Sacramento has played with intensity. They have played well tonight, but the Seattle defense has really disrupted the Kings in this fourth quarter in particular. Even though Sacramento turned it over 8 times in the third quarter and trailed by as many as 10, they cut it down to 4 early in the fourth. But now it is a 17-point ball game, 11 unanswered points.
Well, the Sonics are just so disruptive with their defense. They do so many different things. Like they consistently front in the low hole, which a lot of teams don't. And many times they don't just double team. They'll run 2 guys at the ball, which they've been doing the last few possessions. Both Jim McIlvain and Craig Elo are just almost, playing freelance out there. So many times they're running 3 guys chasing the basketball, and the Kings haven't recognized that very well.
Well, you see the numbers in the last 2.5 minutes, and that was with Sean Kemp on the bench with his 5th foul. It certainly looked like things were playing into the Kings' hands in the early stages of this fourth quarter. But that also speaks to the depth and to the quality of this Seattle basketball team that got to the NBA championship finals against Chicago last year. Look at Peyton talking to Richmond. Dumps it out. Detlef Schrempf. Bring it up. Oh, my.
Well, they're a great team. Gary St. Jean's got to take a timeout, get something settled down here, get this team back in an offense he wants them to run.
5 minutes to go. A full timeout is taken. We'll take the break as well. The Sonics have broken this one open. Denver was a loser tonight. Chicago still unblemished. They're 10-0 now, and they hold Atlanta to 69. Utah goes to 5-2. They've won 3 straight. Dallas is now 2-6, and Houston is now 8-1, and the Warriors are 2-6 on their season. Clyde Drexler, incidentally, had 33 for the victorious Rockets tonight. Richmond for 2. He's got the bucket.
And that was a tough move. Percy Hawkins played him well. Now, one thing you're seeing, I think Gary St. Jean will go to a point forward attack here. Let Billy Owens handle, let Mitch and Abdul Rauf come off screens and try to get some scoring.
Kings trying to force some defensive pressure of their own. The foul call is on Holden Polynice. Richmond now has 25 with that last basket. Now, even though the margin is similar to what happened, well, not quite similar yet to what happened Wednesday night in Salt Lake City, totally different type of game. The Kings, for all intents and purposes against the Jazz, were done early in the second quarter that night. Never a murmur again. But tonight, they were within 4 in this fourth quarter. And then the Seattle defense just put on the clamps and went on that 11-point run to take control of the game.
Absolutely, and now you're seeing, like I say, you're seeing Billy Owens now trying to move it. There's a foul on Elo. But also you're going to see the Kings probably start doing some trapping, some doubling, because it's not just scoring every possession now. They still can't win unless they can create some turnovers on their own, much like the Sonics did in the few-minute period here. But you're so right, Gary. This has been a very good game. It's just been a case where the Sonics defense just took this game over in about a 2 or 3 minute stretch. Which they do.
Boy, they have just
many nights.
You're right. I'm just thinking about their success on the home floor, the different looks, the energy of this crowd. It's a great atmosphere for NBA basketball in a revitalized Key Arena. Billy Owens, a pair of free throws, makes it a 15-point game. But we're down inside 4.5 minutes to go now. Elo fakes to pull up from the corner. Sonics are in no hurry as they balance the floor out. Here's Payton trying to drive. Oh, nice job, but he didn't get the roll. Tipped out. Kings have got numbers. 4 on 2. Michael Smith, full head of steam, tied up by Detlef Schrempf.
Well, that's a good foul by Detlef because obviously Michael's going right to the rack with it.
Here's the Sean Kemp story tonight. The only number missing there is the personal fouls. He has 5. That's why he's been on the bench. But to their credit, Seattle, when he picked up that 5th foul, really pulled together and unloaded on the Kings because Sacramento had made that push with Sean Kemp on the floor to cut it to 4 points.
Sean Kemp, I'll tell you, other than Mr. Jordan, who in this league is more talented?
Well, I can't come up with anybody right off real quick. I mean, there are a lot of great talented players.
And I'll tell you what, you've got a couple of days, you still won't.
You won't buy Penny Hardaway. You won't buy Shaq. You won't buy... I'm running out of candidates even. How about... in Detroit, Mr. Hill?
Well, now, you know, I think maybe you could, but but I'll tell you what, it's a very select group.
Yeah, you're right. Especially at the level and the numbers he's been putting up this week. Smith gets 1 out of 2. Elo with the rebound. Nearing the 4-minute mark in this one. Seattle trying to go 7 and 2 on the year. Kings trying to get 2 consecutive victories for the first time, but appears to be nigh on impossible right now. Oh, nice little screen roll. Oh, look at the Rayman hang, but he couldn't finish that one off. He had a little double clutch, and he couldn't quite. His arm needed to be another foot longer. Michael Smith, meanwhile, cashes in from Billy Owens.
Well, he was going to be not just scoring. I think he was going to, take creativity to another level.
If he made that one this place, they would have brought down the Raptors. Sonics trying to lure the Kings into an illegal D. Kemp hooks it out. Hawkins. Shot clock at 5. Percy and McElvain. Bumped by Richmond. No foul. To Payton with 1. Gets it off in time and count it. Oh. The patience, the poise of a championship contender.
Unbelievable. And that's right. And that's why this team is a championship contender. Besides the talent, they really have a lot of patience and poise and competitive spirit.
Gary Payton now has 19 with that bucket. It came just as the horn was sounding. Richmond frees up. He's got another one, Mick.
And I'll tell you what, he's got a lot of competitive spirit and patience and poise.
27 tonight for Mitch. He has strung together some impressive scoring performances in the last 5 games for the Sacramento Kings. A couple of 29s and 30 last night. Hawkins off the dribble. A floater in the lane. Not there. Richmond is. Mitch dumps it ahead to Owens. Stolen by Elo. Elo backs out. Finds Payton inside to Kemp. Mishandles. Loose. Grabbed by Michael Smith, and he's fouled. Well, the brand new Game Time magazine is distributed free at all Sacramento Kings home games. It features up-to-the-minute information about that night's contest. It's free at the door. It's brought to you by Cache Creek, Sacramento Cable, and Chaka's sauce. You agree?
Chaka's
sauce.
Chaka's sauce. I'll tell you what, there must be some Chaka sauce on that ball the way these Sonics go after it. Gee whiz.
Kings are now at 21 turnovers on the night. And that last steal by Elo. Michael Smith back at the free throw line, where he now, I believe, is in double figures. I need to double check that. I think he has 10 points on the night. Again, without our stats monitor tonight.
On the scoreboard, he got him for 12. So
This one foul is on Olin Polynice, and that's 5 on OP. So he'll walk back to the other end now and let the Sonics shoot some free throws. We're going to see Larry Stewart coming into the game for George Karl here with 2:12 remaining. He came in and played with a lot of energy and played very well in a limited stretch in the first half. Sean Kemp flexing his right arm repeatedly there in the background as you see Trujillo come off the court.
Must have got a little kryptonite on the side of his shoulder or something.
Yeah, that just oiled up that free throw stroke for him. Kemp hits a pair. He now has 25 tonight. Started the week with 31 in Sacramento. The next night against the Warriors in San Jose had 33. Thursday night against the Clippers, he had 20. And he has 25. Abdul Rauf is short. I said against the Warriors in San Jose, that game was played here at Key Arena. Then they went down to Southern California to play the Clippers. Inside 2 minutes to go. Kings will have tomorrow off, fly to Vancouver tonight, get rested, and get ready for the Grizzlies Monday night at General Motors Place. Not a televised game. We'll be on the radio with Grant Napier on the Kings Radio Network. 7 o'clock contest on the West Coast. Eric Snow checks in. Corliss Williamson checks in for Sacramento.
For Seattle, number 25, David Wingate.
Michael Smith, boy, he works hard, doesn't he? He brings so much energy to the game for the Kings.
Just absolutely every night.
Oh, another block inside. McIlvaine with his 4th, I believe, of the evening. From the corner, rattles in and out, no good. That one was fired up by David Wingate. Just came into the contest. McIlvaine tonight with 7 points, now 4 block shots, 3 rebounds. Rebounding numbers have been almost even. Shooting numbers, Kings having a pretty decent night at 51%. Sonics at 47%. But here's Richmond going long distance. Not there. Billy Owens for the rebound. He goes back up in traffic. It's stripped by McIlvaine, but this time he earns a foul call. He agrees. Here's a guy, Jerry, that's signed that, what? 7-year, $35 million contract, and a lot of people were oohing and awing because Irvin Johnson basically blocked shots and got rebounds at about half the price. And I think maybe that deal surprised a few people when they let Irvin go and signed McIlvaine as a free agent.
Well, it really did. I think in probably, you know, nobody's for sure just exactly what the reasons are, but McIlvaine has certainly helped this team to this point. I do think it had to do a little bit with the style of play. I think that Irvin wanted to be more involved offensively, and Jim McIlvaine really doesn't care. And so I think that's with George Karl. You know, he's going to establish roles for people, and they better like it.
So Abdul Rauf on the bench with 10 points tonight. Billy Owens now has 11 points and 7 rebounds. Here's the jam, put down hard by Stewart. Down inside the final minute of play. The Sonics, when they score 100 this year, are perfect. They'll now be 5-0 in that department. Polynice jump hook, not there. Wingate with a rebound. 35 seconds to go. Bobby Hurley seeing his first action tonight. Tyus Edney, the ball almost dug away, but the Sonics save it. Post-up action, feeds to McIlvaine, the free throw line jumper, no good. Edney glides to Williamson. He challenges the big fellow and draws a block foul this time. Oh my, it looked to me like he was there, but Kenny Maurer said no.
Boy, here's a good look at it. I mean, oh
he
my.
was sliding just a little bit. He had one leg, and I guess if that's the criteria, one leg was moving.
But actually, I don't think it is. But
he had the position, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what the criteria is supposed to be. But I think it's like, well, what the heck?
Yeah, game's down to the last 6-7 seconds, and certainly the outcome has been decided. Corliss says thank you for the pair of free throws, and Williamson now has 7 points on tonight. This should do it from the baseline. The jumper is missed. Greg Graham firing it up. But the Seattle Sonics have made it 2 wins over the Kings this week, and they do it in impressive fourth quarter fashion. They win this one 108 to 96. And their defense just outstanding after the Kings had made it a 4-point game in the first minute of the fourth. We'll recap when we come back to Key Arena in Seattle right after this timeout. Beat the Kings 108 to 96. And the story of this one, Sacramento, with 10:50 to go in the ball game, was trailing by just 4. They'd come from 14 down to make it 81-77. The Sonics then, in the next 5 minutes and 50 seconds, went on a 20-6 run to wrap this one up. Time to check out our Chevy Trucks Like a Rock player of the game. And for the second time this week, a fellow by name of Kemp has answered the bell. Tonight, here are the numbers. And plays like this, he ended up with 25 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. And what a week this has been for Shawn Kemp against the Kings twice, also against the Warriors and against the Los Angeles Clippers. So the Sonics go to 7-2 by virtue of the victory. The Kings are now 3-6. Points off turnovers, a +18 for the victorious Seattle Supersonics. They play next tomorrow night in this building against Vancouver. And of course, Vancouver is the next foe of the Sacramento Kings. Monday night in British Columbia. No television of that one, radio only. Our next TV game will be the Tuesday night contest from Portland against the Trailblazers. Checking out our credits tonight, our chance to thank all of those who've helped make our broadcast possible that was seen around the world. Our producer-director is Michael Odino. Sophia Chan with graphics tonight. Our graphics coordinator, Mike Rosenthal. Tonight's halftime feature on Pete Carrill, produced by Steve LaRosa and Scott Monaco. Our studio coordinator, Mark Priolo. Remote facilities provided by National Mobile Television. Transmission provided by Vivix. Some guests on our Kings telecast receive a gift certificate courtesy of Incredible Universe. It's worth the drive, guaranteed. This has been a Sacramento Kings presentation in cooperation with KPWB TV. Tonight's final score, Sonics 108-96 for Jerry Reynolds and our crew. I'm Gary Gerald. Thanks for joining us. Good night from the Pacific Northwest.